I have the agenda on the screen. I am recording this meeting and I will send it out with the minutes, hopefully by the end of the day or by tomorrow anyway. I have a kind of a busy day today. The very first thing on our agenda, as usual, is a presentation from David Smith on supervisor training, a supervisor training program. So I'm going to unshare and let you share your screen, David. Let's see here, allow multiple participants, and you should be able to share now.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, hey guys, thanks again for letting us share some of the stuff that we've been developing. So I'm going to show you guys today something a little different. It's just a website we're looking at building, and I want to get your guys' feedback because me, Amber, who's on the call, and you guys know Amber Recorder, and then also another gentleman named Steve McLean who works in our academic side for safety. We've been messing with this new idea of redeveloping the website, and we just want to get some feedback on it and see what would be helpful or things we may be missing that would be beneficial to you guys as we start putting all this time and effort into building this material. So here we go. So if you go to our risk management and safety website, and if you can see my screen, there's a training link. And so right now, if you click that link, it's going to take you here. And it takes you to just a couple boxes, and it has some resources, and will take you to the online training and things like that. So I'm going to show you how we're planning on revamping this website, and I want to get your guys' feedback if we're missing items that could be helpful for you. So if you were to click training with the new website, it's going to look like this. It's going to have 4 new boxes, and it's going to have a main one called training for all employees. So we tried to create a location where it was like important trainings for all supervisors or employees would want information they want to know. So, and Amber, you can jump in anytime you feel like I'm missing something, by the way. But as you can see right here, right now we're going to build a new training called BYU's Safety, Culture, and Expectations. So people have a better understanding of the expectations of their job and their role as supervisors or employees on campus. We actually have a new training that's been launched that will teach people what to do and how to respond to workplace incidents. So, you know, when should I be calling 911? When should I be taking the student health center? What happens? What's the alternative care locations I can take them to? That kind of stuff is in there. We have a basic driving safety training. We're going to create a resource area for people who want to start putting together like job safety analyses or job hazard analysis or safety plans, kind of give people resources so they could create safety plans on different projects or things they may be working on. Some evacuation drill information, emergency response stuff, and then some other helpful trainings we're adding down below. They're just really relevant to everybody. So like fire extinguisher training, workplace violence, like CPR training, those kind of things. If we go back to that site, there's 3 other boxes below, and one will be online training. When you click this one, it will have, there we go. They already messed with it yesterday. It will list all the online trainings, and they're going to be linked. See, most of them are linked. We're already starting to develop this. And I'll have all these online trainings you'll have access to in one simple location, so people can look for stuff there.
Now, I have a question. David, are those online trainings, that list, are those just the risk management trainings that have been created by risk management?
Just risk management.
Yes. Okay.
Right now. But I'm excited to hear your suggestion here in a minute. In-person trainings, we have a new kind of website for in-person trainings and some of the things we provide or can provide or build. And then there's this bottom one, this is the last box I've got to show you, is the training plan resources and safety programs. We wanted this to be in one location so people could get access to this stuff quickly. So the safety programs are all here that BYU has, and it has resources when each one of these on these topics. So if you want to know more about laser safety and you work with lasers, you click on that and you would find out more about it. And it have resources there for you, forms and checklists and things. And then also the What Would Cosmo Do is a new thing that Amber's team has been messing with and building. And so now you can find these, if you click a topic like lockout, tag out, it will give you some of these flyers that are available for learning, for employees to learn. One-page little learning resources, help better understand the actual policies. And then here's the last thing I'll show you guys. We're going to develop 3 new training matrices. One's for academic, one's for non-academic, which is where you guys fall. And then office and administrative is mostly like office safety information and things. So we're going to develop these little training matrices where you go in step by step. And let me see if that links. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, great. And this is kind of an example of one of these training matrices. Let me open one up. May not. Okay, there we go. And it kind of says, are you using ladders or scaffolds in your workplace? Well, here's a training that could be helpful, right? And then it even has a checkbox list to remind people how frequently you can do or need to do the training for regulatory requirements. And some of these things that are required, like with band training, there's multiple trainings, not just one, that are relevant. So anyways, that is what we're planning on doing with the website. I thought I want to get your feedback on that. And if I were to create, if our team, the EHS team, me, Amber, and Steve, were to create a 10-minute video to help people understand how to use that site and send that out, what would you guys feel about that? Would it be useful? Give me brutal feedback. That's why I'm here. Your turn.
I think it would be useful. What do you guys think?
I think something that's that basic and simple, it's easily shared with others of our departments, is always welcome. I think it's always good to have reminders of this of the safety stuff. One question I had on here, I was noticing on there as you were scrolling through things, for instance, like BYU vehicle driving training. And I think a lot of us have taken like the van driving training courses in the past to be certified to drive the bigger vans and those things. Is this intended to do that for us as well, or is that separate?
Separate.
Okay.
This is just a basic driving on campus, safety rules, things that. But the van driving training would be a separate thing that you guys are doing, because it's
but right now with the van driving training, you have to watch 3 modules.
Yeah.
This will enable it so that you will only have to watch 1 module for van driving. Same thing for the CMV program. You'll only need to watch 2 modules. And so what we're doing is we're condensing some of those other modules all into this driving a BYU vehicle. Including, it talks about the service station as well. So there's a lot of other trainings that you're doing that will be all lumped into this BYU vehicle training. You take this, and then if you need van certification, you only have to watch 1 portion of the van certification module. In fact, we'll take the other 2 out of absorb, so you don't even see them.
And they are basic driving and what else?
Driving on campus sidewalks.
So this will replace driving on campus sidewalks and driving basics.
It will replace it. However, David, as we spoke earlier, we will still keep the driving on campus sidewalks as a separate module for supplemental training.
That's helpful in that a lot of our contractors that we hire, we require them to view that so that they're aware of our policies as well, and that they're all being safe as they enter campus and do that workforce. That's very helpful for us. I think for me, looking at who's joining us on the Zoom screen here, I think most of us work in departments where each of us kind of have our own vehicle assigned to us for the most part, or we drive one often at least. And this is helpful, I think, just to have even just an annual review together as a department to go through those, or maybe twice a year or something. Might be good to have. This is very helpful.
Amber, do you know how long the training is now since it's combined?
It's long.
Yeah,
I won't lie.
but, but it covers
It's
everything,
I
right? So,
I think it's about 30 minutes. I'm not sure. I'm still
oh,
going through it.
okay.
We just finished creating the graphics for this training. It is a very long training. There's 3 parts, part 1, 2, and 3. You have to watch all 3 parts to finish the training. But like I said, it does condense it. So after, let's say a new employee comes, they watch this training and they need to get a van card, then they only have to watch the one module under van card. And they have to get the gym cart, they only have to watch the one module under the gym cart. And then the CMV program, they only have to watch the truck driving program, because everything else is in this one training. But we will keep a few of those other ones as independent modules, so that departments who wish to have their employees watch them again, they can. And Joseph, also, we will have a space. We've been talking about how to logistically do this, but we will have a training area on our website for independent contractors with links to all of those videos in YouTube format, so that they can go on and watch the videos as well.
Thank you.
Amber, do you know where we decided to host that? Wouldn't it be on the environmental health and safety site?
We're putting it on the environmental health and safety, because what we don't want is, we don't want employees to go and click on the independent contractor links, because they won't get credit for taking those trainings. It's not recording their participation in the BYU system, because they're not logging in with a net ID or password. And so we didn't want to put it under our training headline, because we didn't want employees to get confused with independent contractors, and employees watch all these trainings off of our website thinking they have completed them, because it won't work that way. They just have to then rewatch all of them in the training absorb module. So yeah, we're going to put it someplace here on our environmental health and safety. It will be a landing page that will say independent contractor information or something like that. They'll click on that, and then there'll be some information for independent contractors, including a link to the trainings for them. And you just let us know, David has given us some of the trainings he'd like there. You just let us know what other trainings you'd like on there, and we can just add it to them, as long as risk management created those trainings and we have it in YouTube. If we created them more than 3 years ago, we don't have them in YouTube, and we'd have to recreate it, which is not a problem, just takes time.
Are these links you will send out, or they will all be found here on your main web page here?
They will
Well,
all be here on the web page.
and it will be a separate web page, because right now this web page you only can access it through logging in, and so this will be a special kind of web page connected to it, where
For the
contractors
outside,
actually go into it and search it.
for the outside contractors, but for BYU employees,
Yes.
we will still log into your main web page and do those things.
That's correct.
Another question is,
Joseph, Joseph, the only 2 modules I gave her were the driving on campus sidewalks and the working on campus roofs. Those are the only 2 that she has direction from us for so far. So if there's any others, then you need to let her know.
I don't have any off the top of my head. This is, I guess if I think of some as they come up, I think so far this, I think covers what I would consider general safety practices for those we hire and for us as our campus employees. One question I have is, is it a goal? Are we supposed to all be viewing, for instance, the driving on campus module periodically? Are we trying to log ourselves in and be checked off that our departments have viewed it? Is there a drive for that, or is this simply for us to take as we need?
The new driving on campus video that we just created,
Yeah.
we'd really like every employee to watch that yearly, because it talks about service vehicles in the service station and all of the rules about driving a vehicle or having a vehicle assigned to your department, renting a vehicle from fleet. It goes through all that information. And so we think that it is pertinent to any employee who drives a BYU vehicle, and they should watch it at least once a year.
And we could watch that in a group if we wanted to, for instance.
Yes, that would be a great training time.
Thank you.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So every once a month or so, David, you send us out a spreadsheet that shows us all the trainings we've done and the dates that we've done them on, right?
Yes.
Am I missing it? Is there anything like that on these websites so that we can simply just go to that? And it would be this almost kind of like the same kind of thing where you would have a list of all your trainings when you did them last. And if you need to do it, then you would just click on it and you would open it up, and so that Dave isn't having to send that to us all the time.
Well, there's not anything like that on this website. However, there is the capability for supervisors to get in and see the training of their direct reports in the training LMS. But they have to initiate that. The only reason I send out the reports is so that you don't have to remember to get in, and you also have an overview of your entire department at a glance. There's not the functionality for that in the training LMS. And of course, it's not on this website at this point.
Is that something that would be too hard to do? I don't have any idea.
You know what?
So that when you sign in under your name, it pulls up your spreadsheet basically.
Well, each person can do that on the training LMS for themselves currently.
It
They
does
have
that.
they have to enroll in the curriculum for their area in order for that to work. But then once they enroll in that, it'll show them which of the courses in the curriculum they have completed and which they still need to do. That's
Maybe I've
already
just missed it.
a functionality of the training LMS.
How would you
Maybe
guys,
I've just missed it.
Steve, Mark, how would you guys feel? Because we've gotten this feedback from other groups we've shared this with. How would you feel if on this website we put something in here from like HRD, because HRD may have resources to teach people how to do that, like how to actually look up rosters and what training they've done. What's if I put something on this website that linked to something like that?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Solve the
'Cause,
problem.
like, I've used it a bunch of times, but I've never even noticed where it shows me that. So
That's a great idea. Just a course, a course that shows you
YouTube
how to get
video.
into the training LMS and see your records, see where you stand.
the only time I ever know that I need something is because you send me that, like that spreadsheet. So then I'm like, oh, well, it looks like I need something now. I better get back in there. So.
Right.
I'll pitch that to HRD.
Awesome.
Any other ideas or suggestions that help make this better?
Now, you were going to say something about supervisor-specific training as well, right, Dave?
That's this.
It's right here. Oh.
Yeah, it's making a 10-minute video with all these resources and everything, and that we could share with everybody, and they would know where all this stuff was, and or how to access it, or and where they could go for safety resources and help. So, and training advice and stuff like that.
Okay, so this is just for supervisors that we're talking about here, not for all employees.
Yeah, we'll leave it open to everybody though.
Okay.
We want everybody to have access to it if they want it.
Hey, David Smith or David Boakwick, this is Charles White. Just had a quick question about, since the mask mandate, I guess, for the state is going, I guess, what, April 10th or something is kind of a target date they're looking at. How will that affect our in-person training as a shop? Will that allow us to kind of, I don't know if BYU's made a policy yet concerning that date, but is that something that we'll be able to have more in-person as a general shop training again?
The reason he's asking that, Dave, is right now we have to do 3 sessions to get all 30 of the full-time painters through the training, and it would be nice to have them all in one big group again when that's available.
Well, it would be less, it would be easier for you as well, David Boakwick, to not have to have 3 sessions for every department as well. But we hardly ever get to see each other, honestly, as a shop anymore. At least us as painters don't. But
Yeah, Dave, let me reach out to my boss and see if he knows any insights on that. But again, what will happen is the state makes the rule changes, and then BYU has to quickly adjust.
Hmm.
And so then they take it to the policy group. And I know the policy group, but our boss, Brandon Wilson, is meeting with the policy group multiple times each week. And every time the state changes something, they all sit down and they go, okay, what are we gonna do now? And then they have to, and then they'll announce it. I'm sure they'll announce something over online, but I'll reach out to him and see if they got any ideas.
Now, David, I haven't missed any announcements. However, we're still at a limit of 10 people per meeting. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're still there until
Right.
they change stuff, but things will change like they have the whole time.
Aren't there conference rooms all over this campus we can use? And why aren't we?
Say again, Andy, sorry.
Aren't there conference rooms all over this campus that can be used for stuff like this? So
Like
why
this,
aren't we
yeah.
taking advantage to make more people be able to be in them?
Well, and yeah, I mean, it's a good point. You look at the students and how they run the classes, they spread people out, and yeah, there could be opportunities there. That's a good thought.
Well, I was down there at your place today, Andy, painting some slowdown logos on your asphalt, and that mulch is starting to smell pretty good this time of year. I think we ought to do an outside meeting training down there at your place next month.
Come on down. Well, you're welcome.
Hey, that smells like fresh. That's fresh air down there. No mask mandate.
That's right.
Okay. Should we move along?
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for your feedback. That's very helpful. Appreciate your time.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to share my screen again. We want to have a discussion about safety awards. Corey made a comment earlier this month about how it would be nice to have some additional safety awards. Before we turn the time over to Corey to tell us what he's thinking, let me tell you what we're doing currently. We have been giving out a nice little keychain to people who complete all of their courses that have been assigned by their shop supervisor. And I have a spreadsheet of that I'll show you. I've been keeping track of it ever since. You can see on this spreadsheet. Let's go all the way up to the top. We started doing this back in February of last year. Has the name of the person who's received the award. If it shows if they're full or part-time. The blue are full-time. For the full-time people, we give them this key read. For the part-time people, we just let the supervisor know and suggest that they do something to recognize that employee, since we really haven't been funded to do key rings for everybody. But you can see as I scroll down to the end of this, to the bottom of this spreadsheet, there are 360 people, full and part-time, who have completed, since last year, completed every training. And these are a lot of trainings often that you can see 21. In fact, you see Denny Vincent right there at the very bottom. This week, I sent out his shop's report this week, and he has completed all of his trainings. He has a key ring coming to him. But you can see that some of them have right here a lot that are required. 33, for example, electric shop, they require 33 of their people. 29 for the paint shop. And we've added some too since that time as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send each of you, as the representative from your shop, I'll just send you a list of who has received these awards in the past, so you kind of know where you stand. And we're going to continue doing this. These key rings cost us about $8 a piece. They're nice brass key ring. I think I showed them in one of our meetings in the past, but so that's what we're currently doing. And it was a little bit of a trick to get this funded. So whatever we decide to do, we will need to deal with how to fund the training. So, or the award. So Corey, what in addition to this, what do you suggest?
So I just, my brother-in-law worked at a mine and my wife works at a manufacturing facility, and there was a couple things that had come up when I talked to them. And the one thing they were doing up to Green River, Wyoming is they give out jackets. And there's a couple reasons for that. Number one is it's an award to that person, but it's also a reminder to the rest of the facility that, hey, this guy is doing something safe. He's done something well in safety, those kind of things, and it's very visible. They would give him a gift certificate to go and get a thing. We could probably do the same thing here with laundry. The other thing was one thing my wife was doing, it was called a good catch. And anytime that they would catch something that was a safety, and it actually went into some other things as far as the manufacturing stuff, but it was a very visible thing. The key rings are nice. I mean, there's my key ring right there. Everybody wants to see it. If I can get it to look decent. But if you stick it in your pocket, it's gone and it doesn't serve anything except for that individual. So if we had a jacket, a hat, I mean, something like that we could show off more. I just wonder if that would help with safety. The other idea that they had with the mine is actually showing how much time we have being safe without a reportable accident to OSHA. And I don't know if that's something we could instigate and put around. You walk around the mine and there's these signs that says 180 days without a reportable accident. And it was actually emphasized in their safety meetings, and it was a goal. And when they reached a certain amount of days, a hat or something or a key ring was given to them because nothing happened. And so it kind of is, it's not passive, it's maybe more aggressive and out there in your face saying, hey, yeah, you do something good, you get a jacket, you get a whatever.
Great. So I've written down jacket, gift certificate, laundry, near miss or good catch program, a hat, safety signs showing number of days without a reportable. Anything else? Anybody have an idea of other ideas?
Cash.
Well, it's not much of an idea, but I tried getting just through grounds to do something like this, and they basically said there's no way to do it for everybody. And I took that as they didn't want to try that hard. And that was, they're saying campus won't give us money to do stuff.
Well, that is the big hurdle, being
Yeah.
able to fund something like this, because we are budgeted, we're using dollars, and it's so it's not like a private business.
But it is a private business. And the other thing is, in the long run, when you do this stuff, you save a whole lot more money than it costs to make these awards.
And I think the last jacket I got at the laundry was like $32 or something like that. So I don't know that there has to be, and maybe only do 12 of them a year. I mean, have a budget, figure out where all this stuff fits in. It's not like you have to have something unlimited. Maybe you do a safety jacket of the month or something, I don't know. I think there's a more visible way to award people and let them know that we're trying to be safe.
Yeah. Well, for instance, out here, I'm over 2 3/4 time drivers, and all of us full-time drivers out here at MHA. In the last 2 years plus, there's been 0 reportable accidents and 0 recognition.
We really need to recognize that some way.
So until physical facilities has something on their own, we do have a safety award program that's sponsored by risk management, and you can nominate an employee to receive that safety award. It is a monetary award. We present it during staff meeting, whatever kind of staff meeting we have.
Are you talking about the Sarah Award thing?
No, this is different than the Sarah Award,
Yes,
but it is
I
kind of
didn't
in
know
the
there was-
same.
Okay.
It's a
Yes.
$50 award, but the thing is, they get it at their meeting and then it's gone. It disappears. Where a jacket, and trust me, my brother-in-law worked there forever, and every time he got a jacket, I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. You know, because you can get them fairly cheap, but everywhere he wore it in the plant or wherever, he was noticed for safety instead of just taking the $50 and it's gone.
Amber, would it be possible to make giving a jacket instead of the $50, because it's less than $50 apparently?
Yeah, when it
Would we
becomes
be able to tweak
something,
that a little bit as an option?
so we did look at other options apart from cash. When it goes from cash, then we have other complications as well. Right now with the cash, it's the same as the SARA award. If you get the safety award, you're taxed on it. And so we put money into the person's paycheck to help offset the taxes. When it comes to clothing and hats and things like that, there's a different policy involved with that. It's far different. I can go back to my research. We researched this about 2 years ago. So I can go back and look into that and see what all of those complications are. But I remember for us, it was just easier to go get the cash. Because that's another thing, is who's going to administer this program, because there's actually quite a bit that goes on behind the scenes, that in order for this not to be a taxable gift, or because it is a taxable gift, and how you work that out with payroll and the regulatory accounting departments.
So how do we find the spot to nominate for the awards that we do have?
So just go to, you can send an email to safety@byu.edu. That goes to myself and Dave Smith. We receive those. We take them to the campus safety committee that we have quarterly, and we present that for the committee to vote on. And then the committee, so far they haven't said no, but then they vote if this individual should receive the award. And then we notify the supervisor that their employee has been nominated for an award, and work it out with the supervisor to then present it to the employee.
Okay, great, thank you.
And that's just a normal email with a paragraph describing what you're thinking.
And that paragraph, similar to the SARA, when you fill in the SARA, that paragraph that you write up about the employee and why they deserve the award, that will be put into the letter. So whatever you write, that's what's going into the letter. We don't rewrite the letter.
Dave, could this just be a physical plant thing that we run through the vice president?
Well, if there's already a system in place that is funded by risk management, let's take advantage of that until risk management doesn't have the resources to continue. I don't know if we should have parallel programs if this one will do the trick.
Okay.
You think?
I just like the visual aspect of being able to show it to the employees, because I think it helps. It's like the days of being safe. It means something when you can actually see a sign. And I've seen a few of them on campus, some old ones. I haven't seen them for a long time, but it gives you like a goal to work towards for everybody, not just one person.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, Amber, if you can check and see what our options are as far as substituting a jacket for that $50, that would be something to look at first. And then if that's a dead end, then maybe we can go to Ole and ask him about funding something like that.
I mean, definitely, the awards that we have are awesome. The $50 award is great, but it doesn't do anything to continue that idea of safety. I mean, like I personally know that Leif got a $50 award. Well, that's great. I know that. How many of you guys know that? But if he were to wear a jacket every time he goes around, you're going to see it right there. You're going to know, hey, he did something. And I think it means a little bit more. Kind of going back to that being personal thing that you said earlier when me and you were talking, Dave.
Mm-hmm. I think
so David,
excellent point.
David, I'm happy to go back and look at my research and see what we did and send that on to you. What I don't want to commit to is us purchasing other things than the cash, simply because it takes quite a bit of time and we don't have the resources right now to do that. And so if it is something that is workable for physical facilities, someone else in your area would need to find those materials, like find the jacket, locate the distributor, have it monogrammed, things like that. Somebody else would need to do that.
Right. In fact, I'd be happy to do that. It's just the funding that is a little bit of a hurdle for us.
Yeah, and if it doesn't happen, it is what it is, but it also doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
Well, the weather is warming up, so we're starting to get out striping on the roads again. And I looked in one of the little green cone truck today, and we've got some nasty looking orange safety vests that just need to be laundered up there. I'm sure we can get those donated to the safety award, because reflected orange says nothing but safety all over it. So on behalf of the paint shop, without prior authorization, I would be willing to donate those, because I know that we have a little extra budget to buy new ones to replace the ones that I would donate.
Yeah, I can go farther than that. I got a key to the laundry. We'll just go get what we need.
It never faileth.
Problem solved. Thanks, Charles. Okay, we'll put this on the concerns log, and we'll follow up in future meetings, and we'll see if we can get something that is a little more visible. That's an excellent point, Corey. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dave.
Mhm.
I gotta clarify something. I made a mistake saying something earlier, and I want to clarify. Are you okay with that? Take 2 seconds. You know, right now the university procedures for COVID, it's no more than 10 people in the meeting room, as you guys know. So I do know that some groups have asked for authorization from their VPs. It goes up to their VP level where they get approval to do kind of some different trainings, but they have to create like a safety plan, how they're gonna make sure people stay safe, with COVID and stuff. So I think for the time being, we'll have to still meet that under 10 limit unless you can get approval from I think it's a VP, to allow for a different type of training with more individuals in it. I've personally done it myself, and it was just fine. I had a larger training. It was outside. We did the fall protection one day. Do you remember that?
Right.
So
I
10
remember that.
people. And we created a safety plan and got permission. So there are ways of doing it. So I just wanted to share that. Make sure I wasn't going against what the policies are at the university. Sorry, that was it. Thanks.
Great, thank you.
I'm working on that for you, Cheyenne.
Dave Smith, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if you know the answer to this. So let's just say that on April 10th, the state lifts all the mask mandates. Is all these regulations, is that all going to be still staying in place for BYU? Or do you think BYU will be following suit and letting us go around without masks on and so forth?
I don't know what they'll decide to do like right now, but I will reach out to my boss and see what they're thinking, if he knows anything, and I'll definitely share that, what they're willing to share. But like I've seen throughout this whole thing, BYU kind of follows what the government kind of tells us what to do. So in most cases, it seems like the university will kind of follow suit to what the government restrictions and requirements are. So I could see, just like this whole last year, we've been changing, the policies change and morph, and all due to the government, what they recommend. So I bet you there'll be some different types of changes. I just don't know when the university will change to those, like no mask mandates yet. Sorry, I don't have a better answer.
No, it's fine. Thanks.
Okay, number 3 here. Amber's going to share with us an annual report on incidents that they put together by area. Do you want to share your screen, Amber, or would you like me to I have it here on mine. Would you like me to put it up on the screen, or would you like to share yours? You're muted. There you go. Did you want to share your screen, or shall I put it up on mine?
No, I'm going to share mine.
Okay.
You should be able to see it. Okay, David, is this the one that you wanted me to go through, or did you want me to go through the 2020 year-end report, or both?
The 2020 year end, but just the part for physical facilities, not for any of the other groups.
Okay. All right, in 2020, we had a couple of OSHA reportable injuries. A few of them came from physical facilities. The first one was on 7/10. We had a fractured thumb. Then we had on October 5th, a fractured toe. November 13th, a fractured finger. November 23rd, a fractured finger. As you can see, fingers and toes are what we have most of our reportable injuries to OSHA from last year. All of those did not receive any type of citation. The only citation we received was from Print and Mail Services from their incident. This shows us, so a recordable injury is something that receives more than what OSHA considers basic first aid. And we really just focus on the recordable injuries, not all of the injuries submitted. So everything submitted to risk management was 300 and something injuries, but total we only had 127 recordable. So if you come down here to this chart and you see the middle section here with physical facilities. So out of that 127, 69 of those came from physical facilities. This days away cases, it means that the employee was taken off of work. So we have 19 cases of those 69 that were taken off work for at least 1 day or more. You can tell they're more because the total of those 19 cases days away from work was 251. So that's pretty high. Yeah, it's pretty high compared to other years. And then restricted day cases, this is how many of the 69 cases where the doctor required modified duty. So like no lifting more than 5 or 10 pounds, something like that for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, however long that restricted duty went on. So out of the 69 cases, 31 of those required restricted duties. And those restricted duty days were 1,519, which is also high as well. In normal years, it's not quite so high, which is interesting because in 2020, we had 127 recordables. Normally we have about 200. So a normal year, a non-COVID year, we have about 200. But even though we had not quite half, but only 127 recordables, we still had a really high restricted days and a high days away. So if you see the total for the university, it was 2563. Physical facilities was 1519 of those. Other recordable, so if you take the 69 minus 19 and minus 31, you get 19. This means that they received stitches or a prescription, or they were received referral to physical therapy or chiropractic care, things like that. That's why this is recordable, because OSHA considers that more than first aid. And so that's where we land with our recordables for 2020 for physical facilities. And then what we did is we broke that down to the various areas in physical facilities that had those. So you can see building care was the second highest. You can see each quarter here, they tallied up a few to get 24, and grounds also had quite a few. But if you also remember, building care and grounds, especially grounds, took on all BYU students who were losing their jobs because of COVID and who still wanted to have a job on campus. And so over the, during that Q2 is when that happened, is when COVID hit, was during Q2. And grounds just took on all of those student employees, and their crews were swelled to overwhelming, and they had so many student employees. And so actually these numbers reflect what was going on with grounds. Building care, this is kind of their norm. Building care, as you can see, is one of the highest areas. This is typically what happens with building care. I would also venture to say that building care usually has more of the less significant injuries as well. So they have a lot of them, but a little bit more or less significant. They'll have a few of them that are significant, but not a lot. And then you can see where the shops have 1 or 2 for the year.
Building care has nearly 1,000 employees, and grounds has over 500 employees compared to shops that might have 50 or 40.
Right. So
That's a
so
big,
you can see why those 2 areas are the highest, is because they do have more employees. And building care has a lot of student employees as well, and a lot of turnover in those student employees. Any questions about the recordable cases for 2020?
Thank you, Amber. And we'll ask Amber to give us this report each year as it comes out. This is helpful for us to know what's going on in physical facilities.
Did you want me to go through this one really
Yeah,
quickly as well?
Do this one quickly.
Okay.
We're running a little low on time, so kind of brief.
We'll be quick. So what we did is then we compared physical facilities injuries for the last 6 years and saw what happened. And once again, we're looking mostly at recordables, but some of these numbers are all of them. So within the last 6 years, from 15 to 20, physical facilities reported 948 injuries. That's the total number. So that's not just recordables. And BYU had a total of 2354 reported during that time. So not quite half are physical facilities. But once again, physical facilities employs more, has the highest number of employees than any other department on campus. Dining services is right under you, which explains why you have so many. You can see that your injury numbers spiked in 2019 and decreased in 2020. So for 2020, you had 131 incidents reported. 69 of those were recordables, which also makes sense because everybody was down during those numbers for last year as well. We expect numbers to go back up this year or maybe next year. Let's see. These are some of the injury causes as to what happened, why people were getting injuries. And we have body parts injured. Fingers, that's our highest one. Fingers is always the highest one. Toes is pretty high. Head, neck, face, these are probably more along the lines of getting hit in the head. That's what these are. So it's more of a head injury, sometimes a concussion. And then our next group is the hands and wrist, arms, shoulders, and stomach, back, mostly backs. So you can kind of see what's going on with that. And then here you have injuries by division. And once again, building care tops the charts, grounds is second, but once again, number of employees. And these are the last 6 years, not just the one. So
And would it be okay could we send this out to these committee members the minutes? Would that be all right?
yeah, Dave, is there anything?
I have a copy of it already. If it's okay, I'd like to send it out with the minutes.
Hey, the only thing that we're always really cautious about with the statistics is just don't look at them too negatively, and don't use them to we don't want to use them to create underreporting or fear that people. We usually don't blast these out because we just don't want people. It almost feels like we're showing everybody's injuries and issues, and I don't know. We just want to make sure the safety stuff that we put out is used in a really positive way for us to solve problems, not to show which group's doing better or worse or whatever. You know what I mean? We're not that way. We don't want to ever be that way from our standpoint.
Is there a reason why we would need to have them, Dave?
I just thought it would be nice for you to see what's going on in your shop so that you as a safety officer are on top of things, aware of things. And it's not required that you have it. Should we hold off on that, or?
We don't give Dave ulcers and worrying about how those numbers actually get used. Because I can understand why he says those numbers can be taken and skewed. because of our lack of understanding of the whole picture. I mean, it's just like what they were saying with grounds and what was the other one? The two big ones. You know, you got to take into account they have 1,000 employees, where like we may only have 25.
Right.
Right.
So people can take that out of proportion.
Can also be helpful though, too. I know last 5 or 6 years, I've been reporting to our staff what our numbers are now. It's like 15 to 20 injuries a year, whatever it is. But, you know, in say October, I'd say, hey guys, you gotta be careful. You're in too many injuries, and just say, this is what we have so far. So whatever.
How about if I send it out with the caveat that just to be careful with the information. You can discuss it with your supervisor and just be aware of it, but not publish it too far. Is that okay with you, David?
Yeah, I think, and if you guys agree, I really am. My purpose of saying it is I really am looking out for everybody. As long as we just use it in a way of learning, not a way of you know, any negativity at all. It's not what they're there for.
Awesome. I think I'm going to postpone items 4 and 5. Both of those can wait until our meeting next month. We're just 5 minutes until the devotional begins, and I've committed to keep this meeting under an hour. As far as the concerns log, Andy, in 1 or 2 sentences, can you tell us what's happening with that vehicle speed at the MHA lot?
Yeah, so as you come in, if you look, there's a Quonset hut, there's a building there that's got a speed sign off to the left. We're going to light that up with a flashing light, and then we're looking into getting some sort of portable sign that'll read your speed and tell people how fast they're going in here, so we can move it in different directions. Because when we met out here the other day, last week, if I remember right, that, you know, right there where they wanted to put the sign to read, I'm like, people go slow there because it's narrow. We went around the corner and I said, now watch. And we had a couple people come flying around us. And so to indicate where we need those better.
So we're asking for a cost estimate for a portable speed sign that Andy can move around from time to time. And that's where we stand. We're waiting on that cost estimate. And then
Yeah, not one on a trailer, not big fancy thing, because we got equipment, we can move it.
Yeah, awesome.
Would that be anything that the police department might have? I mean, a lot of times they have storage lights and different things. Has anybody, I don't know if y'all checked with them.
Yeah, I checked with Wade Robb, who's my contact, the police office, and he said they didn't really have anything that they could lend out like that.
Taser.
Yeah. Vehicle ergonomics course is still on track, I assume.
We're working on it. We'll get it to you.
So that's still on track. Criteria value statement, David, you're still planning to?
Amber set up a meeting next week with HR. So we have a meeting next week with them about
This week.
Oh, this week. Yes, you're right.
This week.
I'm sorry. I know it's in a couple days.
Okay, if you have any new concerns, just email them to me and I'll make sure they get on the concerns log this time. And next meeting is April 13th, Tuesday. Thank you so much for your participation. Everybody enjoy the devotional that will start just in a few minutes here. Bye now.